Welcome, Titans. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Victoria Jamian. I'm the Basic Needs Center Coordinator for Tuffy's Basic Needs Services Center. Thank you for coming to the tea with ASI about their food pantry. I'm joined by Kia Allen, the Associate Executive Director, and Asha Nettles, the Leader and Program Development Coordinator at ASI. So thank you both for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
We are very excited to learn a little bit about the ASI pantry. So we just have a series of questions that we'll ask you both. And then students that are joining us today, if you have any questions, please feel free to put it in the chat. We have time at the end for any open questions or anything that we didn't cover in the panel. We've also are recording this webinar today, so it will be posted on our website following today's webinar. So to get us started, Kia and Asha, could you share a little bit about the services the ASI Food Pantry offers to students?
Well, yeah, I mean, we provide non-perishable grocery bags. So that's what the students are getting each time they come through the pantry, particularly the mobile pantry. In those bags, you have a lot of dry goods, cereal, oatmeal, pasta. You have canned goods, jarred goods or canned goods, pasta sauce, like quick lunch things like ramen, tuna, chicken noodles, and a lot of dry snacks. So that's what that's what we're providing to them and the services that they get when they come through that mobile pantry.
So that's wonderful to hear. I know you share different types of food, but if students have any type of dietary restrictions or accommodations, are those available to them?
Right. So students that come through the pantry, we keep a list of their dietary needs. And of course, any of those students who, have visited the pantry prior. And we try to do our best to provide what we can in regards to accommodating their dietary needs. And we restock, once we start ordering and restocking, we restock things according to the restrictions that we have and that we've seen with students. So it helps to make sure that, we have things, there's always something there for the students who have dietary restrictions. And it can't be, we can't guarantee that the whole entire bag will be things that, that they would accommodate the restrictions, but we try our best.
Of course, that's great to hear. So you mentioned that students are already accessing the pantry, but how do they do that? How do they access the food pantry? How do they sign up to the dates that are on the website?
And I'll let Asha answer that.
So we utilize an online platform called PantrySoft. And so students can go to the ASI website, asi.fullerton.edu. You hit services, it's usually top right, depending on your window. You scroll down to ASI Food Pantry, and then there's literally a question that says, how do I sign up? And then when they open that tab, it has information about them signing up for there. And so PantrySoft is a program that we use as our program management. So it does our client management, our inventory management on there. And so they just need to create an account on there. There are screenshots available so they can know what to expect. So it includes some basic information about who they are, all of that, but then also asks us questions about what they have access to. So do you have access to a refrigerator, a stove, a microwave? Because if we're purchasing those items that they can't then heat up, then we need to be purchasing items that may have be able to meet their needs a bit better. So it gives us a snapshot. So that registration is important for students to be able to access, but also for us to be able to provide the correct product. Once they do that, they can then register and see. And once they sign in, they can actually see available appointments on that platform. They can cancel a previous appointment, looks like they need to reschedule, and they can then select a new one from there. Our hope is to be able to continue using that platform in the future to be able to access when we're back in our physical space, be able to do that management. It has some features on there that we're currently not using, like custom ordering for that. But that's how they access our current services. They just need to go, and that's available for any student. So they just need to go on there and register. And then they'll be able to see any of the upcoming appointments.
Great. Could you share a little bit, just because of the age we live in with COVID and health and safety guidelines, what are some health and safety precautions that are in place to help protect students as they go in person to pick it up, just kind of as they're accessing the food pantry?
Yeah. So students can access the mobile distribution either by vehicle. We know some students may access the campus on foot or on bike or public transportation. If they're in their vehicle, we ask that they stay in their vehicle at all times when they're coming to campus. We usually place the bags after they check in their trunk or their back seat. And then our staff then sanitize between each appointment. So making sure we have our proper protections on as well. And doing so, if someone's walking up or accessing the pantry outside of a vehicle, we ask that they do stay 6 feet away from the table. And so we actually have to set up where there's some space between our staff and the student accessing that. And then we take those same measures as far as sanitizing in between an appointment. And so as we're doing that, we ask that our students do that. And then all the food itself is pre-packaged and sealed items. And so they all come like that. They're not items that we have to like rebag and redistribute, like snack bags and things like that. They're all pre-packaged and sealed in that capacity. And so that's how we keep our students safe as they're accessing that, but also how do we keep the campus and our staff safe as well.
Great. Thank you for sharing that. I know that's probably a big concern for some students just in the age that we live in. You mentioned the registration system. Is there the ability for students to access the food pantry more than once in a semester with that registration system?
Yeah, so students can access more than once even within the semester. One of the things that we explored when we were developing our plan for this program, one in its mobile fashion, but also when we return to it, when we are able to open our physical space to students, is that need may look different for every student. So a student may have a long-term need and have a variety of different services available to them. Students may have short-term needs. So it may be just like they didn't get enough hours at work, or were furloughed at work and now they're in the season where they're looking for job and additional assistance and things like that. And so at a base, students can access 1 or 2 times a month within that. But if a student has greater need, they can access and schedule additional appointments for that. And so right now, it is pretty open as students need to. We just, again, to ask if they register within that. Myself and the staff that help, we do monitor our registration. And so if we see someone that has is accessing multiples within a consistent time, then we make sure to reach out through our pantry email just about additional services that they may be available to them. So noting when there's that increased need, but students can access it right now as many times as they need, knowing that when we move into the future in the fall, we'll look at like what is a base access for every student and then increasing that based on their need.
So just to make sure I heard correctly, right now students can access it as many times as is needed, just making sure they are registering in advance.
Yeah.
And then moving forward, there will be a reevaluation about how many times a student can access it. Was that correct?
Correct.
Great. So kind of as a shift, if students are interested in volunteering or giving back to their fellow Titans, is there a way for them to get involved or volunteer currently, or maybe is that something that's going to be looked to in the future?
Well, currently, no. I mean, it's specifically because of COVID restrictions and things of that nature. We really have really stopped all of the volunteering at this point, but it's not something that it won't be possible in the future. Right now, we have our staff provide the services just basically to maintain safety protocols and health and wellness, and just to make sure that we're trained in all of the areas that we need to be in order to distribute the food as efficiently as we can. So, at this point, the answer is no. You can volunteer, but in the future, once we're back on campus fully and able to do that in a safe way, then absolutely, we definitely will be looking for volunteers.
That's definitely understandable. COVID has changed so much about how we can interact and engage on campus. So I know students will be excited to resume in person and hopefully engage with all of us.
Right.
Hopefully sooner
Yes.
rather than later. Are you accepting donations? So maybe opportunities to volunteer or get involved aren't possible, but can students donate? Can the community donate to the pantry? And if so, how do we go about doing that?
Yes, we are absolutely accepting donations. And yes, the items that we are accepting are on the website. So on the ASI website, you see all of the things that we have. We ask that folks who want to have their own food drive many times clubs, organizations, fraternities, sororities, different companies say, hey, we want to have a drive and provide you with the food and things of that nature. We ask that they look at our website, look at our restrictions and the things that we can actually accept and intake. And then we also ask that they do that drive on their own. We know we really can't be involved in how they facilitate that or the logistics of their whatever their food drives may be. But then they schedule time with our team to receive the items. We have TRIO, SSS. They've done donation drives. Their items are currently being distributed right now. And so it's one of those things that you can just go online and you can donate through the online via check. So you can also, we also accept cash. So we have check, you can do check, or you can also do through the distribution through our through campus distribution, I'm sorry. So you can, philanthropic. And so there's several different ways through our website that you can make an impact to the food pantry. And we're trying to just make sure that there's a ton of portals for that to happen.
Great, thank you. Kind of as I know we're winding down with the semester, spring break. I feel like after spring break, the semester is just at the end. But how can students stay updated on any upcoming distribution dates? Excuse me. So either for this semester or moving forward, like summer, or maybe we've thought as far as fall. I know that's a big question mark. But how do students stay updated?
Right. The website is constantly updated. And that was one of the things that, we talked about. The email ASI Food Pantry at fullerton.edu. So that's constantly updated. And Asha, you know what we're doing in regards to our updates.
Yeah. So the update is the most regular place where we provide those. So even this last semester, when we began our distributions, we provided everything up until spring break. And then at the spring break, we provide the dates to the rest of the semester. So everything that's taking place is available now. And then once we, I think are finished. I think we're all in receiving new guidelines for summer and falls. Once we have information of what potential summer distributions will look like, those will be available on the website, as well as any announcements regarding fall and what that access will look like. That's the most current place to be able to do that. Any students that are currently utilizing our pantry do receive regular communications through the ASI Food Pantry at Fullerton email. And so we provide just quick updates if ever there's anything happening with our software. We let them know. We remind folks if we have open appointments and things like that. And so we do our best to make sure we're pushing out enough information, because even if a student utilized the pantry in the past, it just, trust me, even 1 week out of sight, out of mind, right? Like, oh yeah, I did that 5 days ago. What is happening now? And so we're making sure that we're continually making sure that they're aware of that resource and that.
Got it. Great. Thank you. So it sounds like the best way to stay updated is the website. And then if you've accessed the pantry before, you are getting regular communications.
Yes.
But if a student has any questions, is the ASI Food Pantry email that you've mentioned the best place to contact for questions and concerns?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Great. Is there anything else that before we open it up to questions from our attendees, is there anything else you'd like to share about the pantry? Anything that we didn't think to ask that you think students would find helpful?
I'd like to say that the pantry is open to currently enrolled CSUF students. I think that that's something that folks often ask. Is it open to the public? Is it open to faculty and staff? It's open to currently enrolled CSUF students at this time. And we haven't expanded it at this point because we have to get this right for students first. So, we're really trying to get this, the mobile food pantry and our brick and mortar pantry set up for students in a good way for those who are food insecure. So at this point, it's currently only available for enrolled students. There are no income requirements. Needs may be different for each student. So there may be long-term needs for some, short-term needs for others. So we just really like to make sure that the students know that it is for them at this time.
Yeah, and I think the only other thing I would add is just to not be afraid to ask questions. I think food insecurity is one of those things that even without the language of it, our students, and I think almost any human knows what it's like to either be hungry. So at a minimum, right, being able to have that conversation with their peers of what does long-term access look like if you don't regularly have access to food? How do you think that, does that affect your academics, your ability to work, your ability to just at focus within that? And so I think the more times we had that conversation with our students, that students have with their peers, it makes it a regular thing to be able to access and ask for help. And so if students have questions, if they have curiosities, this is one of those many places, right? There's not a dumb question around that. And so we hope to be able to answer any of those questions, and also I think speak to and help as much as possible the needs that our students have.
I think you're absolutely right, Asha. The more conversations we can have, especially student to student, about food insecurity, how they can make a difference, resources that they can connect students to, whether that's on campus or if they're aware of other things in the community, are just great ways to start destigmatizing food insecurity across the board and making sure that all of our Titans have their needs met, whatever that may look like. Thank you both for those questions. I just want to open it up to our attendees if there are any questions for Kia and Asha about the ASI Food Pantry that we can share. You can type them into the chat if questions. So I want to, again, thank you, Kia and Asha, for joining us and sharing this really critical information about, someone just said no questions. Thank you for sharing. So really glad that we had this opportunity to learn more about the ASI Food Pantry. I think
you have one question from
Caroline. I think you have a question. I think you should be able to unmute yourself.
Yes. Hi. So
Hi.
Hi, good morning. I'm on the ASI website, and I think I may have just found it. Yeah, I did. Sorry. I was looking for the upcoming spring distribution dates. But when those appointments open up, where would they open up?
So,
on that same website?
Yeah. So once you, right above that, actually, I'm going to go to it to make sure I'm referring to it correctly myself. And so once you are on the website, the tab above it says sign up for food pantry services. And there's instructions about using our PantrySoft platform. So once you register on that particular platform, you'll see the open appointments.
Okay, sorry, I logged on a little bit late, but it's a non-perishable item. So is it something where like we just go towards like Tuffy's basic needs area, or is it a drive? It's a drive-through.
Yeah, it's a drive up. It's a mobile food distribution. And so once you register and set up an appointment, we literally send you a picture of a map on campus of where to do that, but it's right outside of the Titan Student Union. And so there's instructions about how to drive up. And then we place those bags into your trunk or into your back seat, whichever one you prefer for that. So it's completely no contact with any of our staff there. They take care of all of that.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Out of curiosity, like what's been distributed at these drives so far?
So they're all, as you just mentioned, non-perishable items. So things that, if you're picking up and going to work or class, you don't have to worry about putting into a refrigerator or storing in a dark place, those type of things. So cereal, oatmeal, pasta sauce. There are some dry snacks. It always depends on what's available in our purchasing for those. But things that, again, do not need to be refrigerated or go bad. And they cover a variety of different meals. So there are usually a couple of breakfast items, some things for lunch, whether it be canned. I think some of our bags now have some variety of the like pre-prepped lunch items. So things that you just need to open, mix with something, put on a cracker, sandwich, etc. And then some dinner items. So pasta sauce. So it covers a variety of meals. But if you do want to add protein or things like that, you would still, of course, need to purchase that on your own if you want to mix it up for those particular pieces.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Caroline.
Thank you.
I don't think we have any other questions. So again, Asha and Kia, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing more about this very great resource here on campus that students can access. I know I'm definitely looking forward to what's to come with when we return on campus and actually being able to see the space. And I know that's what I'm looking forward to.
Right.
One day soon we'll be on campus.
You know, and Victoria, before we leave, I just want to make sure that we say to all students that no need is too small. So if you feel that you have a need and you feel that you are food insecure, or that you're hungry at this moment, or whatever it may be, and you may be in a short-term situation, whatever it is, no need is too small. Just fill out the application, look at the dates, and just do it. There's no stigma to that. You know what I mean? And again, we want to just make sure that we're providing the students with something to eat. Okay.
That's great. Thank you, Kia. I'll echo that. Like from what I've heard is sign up at a date and time that's open, and y'all will do the best to fit any accommodations that are needed. But these are for our Titans. This is to make sure our Titan community is as healthy as possible. I know finals are coming, so
Yes.
making sure we nourish our bodies as well as our minds is important to be successful here at the end of the semester. So I want to thank you both for joining us today. We will record, or this webinar is being recorded. We'll update it to our website. We'll include like the links to the ASI Food Pantry website, the email, all in our YouTube links, so students can find that easily there. But again, thank you for joining us for this webinar on the tea with ASI Food Pantry. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of the day.